ready to go? We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order with a flag salute. I'd like to welcome all our guests this evening. Thank you for being here. If alguna persona que necesite traducción en español, doesn't look like it. Thank you so much for being here. Moving on to item A3, I will entertain a motion to approve this evening's agenda.
I move to approve the agenda with the addition of an item under section B. I'd like it to be item B1 to be the recognition of student representative Rojas. It was going to be under director discussions, but just so that he doesn't have to, he might have somewhere he has to be, so he could leave if we recognize him right off the bat. That would be B1, student representative Rojas recognition, and then the other two items would move down to B2 and B3.
Motion's been made by Director Simmons to include a B1 recognition for Ivan. A second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Mike Garza. Discussion?
Yeah, I in the
Are you on?
yeah, I think so. In section B5 in the bits, there's administrative contracts. If the intent is to approve those contracts tonight, they're in the wrong spot. So we need a motion, an agenda motion to move them onto an agenda item if we're going to approve them tonight, because it doesn't show any action where they're at now.
So I guess my thing is we were going to try and move those during consent, the approval consent agenda. Or do you want to?
Well, if you move it then I think you're supposed to move it when you approve the agenda if you're going to move something.
And
It's an agenda.
I'll just tell you that I was going to pull those anyways, so a separate item would be a good idea. And so are you recommending an amendment to my motion?
If I can still make it after it's been seconded.
No. And I apologize if I had forgotten I was going to do that too, but now I think we have to vote on it and then make a new amendment or new motion.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion is not carried for lack of approval. So I'll entertain another motion to approve this evening's agenda.
Approve a motion to
I'm not sure your mic is on.
the lights on.
Can you tap
I don't know, maybe it's turned down.
Nope, it is. Just gotta get closer to it.
It might be turned way down wherever it's at. They're all the same?
I can hear you a little better.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, make a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the addition of item B1, the Riojas recognition, and item B6, administrative contract approval.
I'm sorry, did you say B6 or C6?
C6.
Excuse me. So you want to add an item C6 for contract approval?
Administrative contract approvals.
So motion's been made by Director Ashton to include a B1 for recognition for a student rep and also an item C6 for administration contract approval. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Director Simmons. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 4-0. Moving on to item B1 then. And this evening, Ivan, if you could just step forward really quick. We'd like to recognize you this evening and let you know that as a board, we really appreciate the time that you have spent on the board. Thank you so much. You did an amazing job, and I just have to say, as president of the board, not only were your presentations and comments very valued for the board, but I have to give you and Kiera kudos for the great job that you did with the community event that you guys put on that was just tremendous. And so, Ivan, on behalf of the board, and I'm not sure, I'm going to give the board an opportunity to share as well, but actually I'll do that first before I give you your recognition.
So Ivan, even though you had poor mentorship this year, you did a great job, and I expect actually wherever you end up, you're probably going to be in this seat in the county you're in. So good luck in everything you do. I know you're going to be a great success.
No, I just want to commend you on the fact that you took the initiative or the step to be involved the time that you work. As you know, it is very time consuming, but at the same time, I'm sure you feel like the rest of us, there's a sense of satisfaction in being able to bring your thoughts and ideas and be part of a team, which is what you did here for us. And like Juan said, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And Rob's absolutely correct. You are going places, and don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not. Keep on pressing on. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I think a big sign of how well people do in whatever job they've done is they've contributed and left the board a better place than it was when they came in. And I think you can definitely say that the input you provided to the board that you found from your peers and others was valuable to the board and actually caused the board to change some of the things we had done, which is the end goal of having a student rep. So we're glad you took it seriously and fulfilled the purpose of that for us. And then I think it's also good because it helps you grow as a person. I think it has. So, George?
Yeah, I'd like. Oh, ye of little faith, not you, but me. I was probably more skeptical than most of this board about students being on this board. And I can attest to everything they're saying. You have done an amazing job. You come well prepared. You're well thought out. You're very respectful in your interactions with the board and myself. And I think you set a very high bar, an example for future student reps. So again, I have no doubt on what I know of you, that you will be very successful in life. And I would agree with Rob. I see you someday being a board member. So congratulations. I wish you well in school. And I'm sure that you will come by periodically, and I'll still be here a little while, but after a while I won't, but I will be here for a little while, so drop in on me. Okay.
You're going to get a chance to speak, but first I'd like the board to come up to the front as I give you and George, if you would come as well.
I would.
So I mean, if
There you go.
yeah,
Man on the spot.
so Ivan, on behalf of the board and the Othello School District, I want to present you with this certificate that says for dedicated commitment to provide valuable input to the Board of Education, award of appreciation presented to Ivan Rojas on behalf of the school board and the district. And so thank you very much for everything you do. And I'm gonna give you an opportunity to share some words here, but along with that certificate, I want to give you this as well. This is your picture.
So we gotta get it tighter.
Thank you. And Ivan, one more thing. I know you don't have enough. Oh, okay. Come on back. I'll let you. This is yours as well.
I was gonna ask you. Well, first of all, I was really grateful for having the chance to become a student representative. I know it's a big job and it's nothing to take, lightly. It's a big responsibility, and that's how I came here with my mentality that I needed to change something. I needed to leave my legacy, and I tried my best. I tried to set the bar high. I tried to set an example for Kara and for future student representatives. But the memories that I made here, it's just overwhelming. The 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 conventions that you guys took me to is, I made a lot of memories there. And I just want to say thank you for all the opportunities that you guys gave me. And I'm really grateful.
Thanks, Ivan. Appreciate all
you.
your work. Okay, and moving on to item B2, citizens request to speak. Is there, George, do we have any?
I have not received anything, no.
Okay. Item B3, central office transformation. Dr. Chris Hurst, if you would come, please. And take this mic.
I'd like to first say good evening to board president and to all the board members and to the superintendent, Juarez, and also to all the guests that's in the audience. It's a pleasure to be here in my home, Othello. We got here yesterday and a little tired. We just threw everything in the room and then got dinner, took a shower, got up, and here I am, ready to present. And I wanted to share this with our current superintendent. I thought it was very important for me to be at this particular board meeting to share about central office transformation right away, even before I started. Just share the importance of this topic, and as we move forward with the new vision, with the strategic priorities, hearing it from me how important this topic is, and for me being here. So I want to just spend the next several minutes just talking about central office transformation and what that is. And if we can go ahead and just bring up the presentation.
Go up to from beginning.
Top left.
Top
Yeah,
left,
from beginning, over to your left, down.
down, right there.
So if you notice this, you'll see University of Washington. And I've already been warned about the rivalry between University of Washington and Washington State. So I need to be very careful on what I'm saying about University of Washington. Thanks, Pete, for giving me the heads up. But I wanted to share with you, if you just look down there at the words where it says strengthening school district central office in the service of improved teaching and learning. This is something that I underwent when I was in Oceanside Unified School District. And I remember sitting down with the equivalent to our ESD, our county office, and they were sharing with me about the work, the groundbreaking work that was happening out of the University of Washington and the need for more districts to undergo the central office transformation. So I began to inquire about why do we need central office transformation? And they were all talking about it's in the effort of improving student learning. So especially as you consider new superintendent coming in, we have strategic priorities, we have this new superintendent that has this vision, we're going to move forward. There's some things that need to happen. We need to look at every element of the organization in order for our students to be really successful. We need to ask some serious questions about what's happening at the central office or what's not happening at the central office that we need to do. And then we need to ask further questions about what's happening with our principals, what's happening with our teachers, so that we can all influence student learning. So before I get ahead of myself, I wanted to share with you a clip that I thought depicted many districts across the nation that are similar to Othello in that they're high need. They have high poverty, free and reduced lunch also. So what are these districts facing? Same things that we're facing. So if we could click to the next slide. Pete's going to help out here. And then just, yeah, click on that in the. There you go.
I don't know what college I want to go to, but I know I want to be a teacher. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor.
How come?
Because I would like to help somebody in need.
You wake up every morning and you know that kids are getting a really crappy education right now.
So you think that most of the kids here are getting a crappy education right now?
Oh, I don't think they are. I know they are.
Either the kids are getting stupider every year, or something is wrong in the education system.
I just try to do my best at school and make my grandmother proud.
Among 30 developed countries, we rank 25th in math and 21st in science. In almost every category, we've fallen behind, except one. Kids from the USA rank #1 in confidence.
Think about 60,000 people have gone to this school in 40 years. 40,000 didn't graduate. This is the damage that this school has done to this neighborhood.
A child that doesn't finish high school will earn less and be 8 times more likely to go to prison.
I want to go to school.
For these kids, their only chance at getting into a great school depends on whether their number is picked in the lottery.
So if Francisca doesn't get in, is there another chance?
No.
Your children and future generations are on the bridge of the Titanic, and everybody's going to drown.
Someone has taken an interest in you, someone loves you, and they recognize the importance of education. And the first student selected,
20. 9.
It takes a lot of outrage and a lot of good examples to say, yes, we can do this.
When you see a great teacher, you are seeing a work of art.
I want my kids to have better than what I had.
18. 10. 12. 2.
and the last number,
So let's just keep it right there for a second. Let's not go to the next slide. So when I look at this, I just think of every student deserves a great education. Every student deserves a chance to be successful. Every student deserves a chance to be part of an amazing school district. I was talking to the principals a few weeks ago, and I acknowledged the great things that we have been doing here in Othello, hands down. But then the question becomes, are we satisfied with where we are with student learning, even with the success that we've had over the years? So let me just share with you some data that I've been able to uncover since I've been here. And I've shared this with some of the board of directors, but I think it's really good for all of us to hear this. And this is data that's on the OSPI website. First, I want to share with you is a Smarter Balance Achievement, and this is 2014. It's not on overhead. I'm going to read it to you. I'm just going to share a little bit with you. Third grade for the SBA English Language Arts, 30.7% met or exceeded standards. which is great. But then when you look at the flip side of that, that means 69.3% of our students in third grade for English language arts did not meet the standards for SBA. Also in mathematics, 43.7% met or exceeded standards, which meant 56.3 did not. I'm not going to go over all the grade levels, but it's going to skip down to the 11th grade. 43.5 met or exceeded the standards, 56.5 did not. When you look at mathematics for 11th grade, 19.6 met or exceeded standards, 80.4 did not meet. So again, looking at what we've done over the past, and this is, you know, about the same for a lot of districts similar to Othello across the nation, and also in California, and Oceanside is facing the same thing. But the question becomes, are we satisfied? Or do we really need to look at how we're doing business, which means how we're set up, and looking at systems and structures in place. Some other data I want to share with you that we're all aware of, again, this is on the OSPI website, is our adjusted 4-year graduation rate is 75%. So just think about that for a second. We have a cohort of 250 students going through. What we're saying is that 63 will not make it out of 250. So the question becomes, are we satisfied with that? Another piece of data that I looked at was our English learners. 40% of our students are English learners. And looking at that number, that's about 1,631 students, according to the OSPI website. And it's broken down into 4 levels: beginning English, intermediate English, advanced English. Our state identifies level 1, 2, and 3 as not transitional, which means that they have limited English. And we want our students to be transitional, English proficient. So out of the 1,631 students, 199, or 12.2% of our students are transitional, English proficient. So again, the question becomes, are we satisfied, or do we really need to look at how we're doing things? So this is not a conversation that's just relegated again to Othello. This is a conversation that's happening all over our nation. It's a conversation that we've had also in Oceanside, which is why I delve more into this concept of central office transformation. What does that really mean? So let's flip to the next slide now. Oh, not hit the play button. Just hit the arrow key on the mouse, on the keyboard. The other way. Yes. So if everyone in the audience and everyone up here, if you could just take a look at this awesome graphic given to me by Pete Perez. And he gave it to me. I said, I have to use this. I have to use this again. So just observe. So I asked my son, what do you see when you look at this? And he just looked at it for a second. He said, well, Dad, I can see the clouds. And he started going into like his deep thinking mode. He says, well, I see the clouds. Maybe that can mean vision or dream or a goal. And then he said, also, Dad, you know, I see a little fishbowl. I see a bigger fishbowl. And maybe that can mean a larger dream, a larger goal, a larger vision. But then you have the fish jumping out of the water. So I started doing some research, and the reality is fish have been known to jump out of water. And I looked at that a little closer. Is fish will jump out of water when the water is contaminated. And what they do is they'll go closer to the top to get closer to the oxygen. So if you think about it and you put all of those pieces together, this fish is actually jumping out of the water because that environment is no longer suitable for him or for her, for it, and is looking for a larger vision, a larger goal, a larger dream, a more suitable environment. And I thought, wow, what an awesome graphic to depict where many districts are, where the current environment is no longer suitable, what's happening in the current environment, which means we need to do some things differently. So flipping to the next slide, that's where central office transformation comes in. We're really looking at some tools that were created by the University of Washington and Professor Honig and some of her colleagues out of the Center of Educational Leadership. And it's based on some groundbreaking work of 3 districts that really sought to make a difference in the way that their organization ran. And they looked at what's happening at the central office. So they developed some tools. So the tools that they developed are some readiness assessments. There's 3 readiness assessments, and I'm gonna go over with you quickly, not bore you, but I wanted to let you know what this entails. These readiness assessments are designed to ask questions, a series of questions, and then they get a little deeper as you go more and more into the assessments, and they reveal certain information. I'm going to talk about that. Then you have a theory of action. There's 3 parts to the theory of action, and they go in the form of, if we do this at the central office, then this is what's going to happen with our principals. And if we do that with our principals, this is what's going to happen with teachers, and it's all to the benefit of our students, increasing student learning. And then you have the 3rd tool, which is the Principal Instructional Leadership Evidence Gathering Tool. So it's not enough just to have the questions and to create a plan. You physically have to go in and monitor what the principals are doing and if they are increasing in their capacity. So go to the next slide. So let me talk about the readiness assessments. I said there were 3 assessments. The first one, again, congratulations, sir. Awesome. The first one is learning focused partnerships. This is designed to look at the principal and ensure that the principal is becoming an instructional leader, which means we have to look at all aspects of what the principal is doing. Are they operational managers, or are they really instructional leaders? Are they going to the classrooms? Are they giving feedback to the teachers so the teachers can in turn give the awesome instructional strategies for our students to increase student learning? So that's what the Learning Focused Partnerships is designed to do. And again, these readiness assessments are designed to be given to leadership first, so people at the district office, like the superintendent and the executive cabinet, and to ask these questions and see what rises to the top. So what stands out first? And then the whole idea is to take something that rises to the top first and to create that theory of action, that action plan. And the whole idea is to create an early win. You want people in the organization to see that you're doing this, you're following through, and we have some early successes. And the whole idea is, again, to change the way our principals are influencing teachers and our teachers are influencing the students. Part 2 of the assessment looks at differentiated services. So I talked about the principal, but what about the other pieces of the organization? No one is eliminated in this process. So we have business services and we have human resources. Everyone is affected. Everyone has to ask the question, how are we providing support and quality services and differentiated services to our principals so they can influence teachers, so they can influence the students? So the timeout is for this whole approach of one size fit all. We really have to look at all of our schools as individuals and see their strengths, see their areas of growth, and really provide differentiated services based on that model. So that's what part 2 of the assessment is talking about. And then part 3, it talks about, this is a teaching process, so we're teaching people about this central office transformation, but it's also a learning process. And I've been through the process, and it takes a long time to go through one assessment and one theory of action. It's very detailed. So it is a learning process. Going to the next slide. So I wanted to provide you with a sample assessment. So if you look at this, you can see some of the questions. Number 3, say for instance, the relationship between principals and the central office in the district is a partnership relationship. So the question is, does that apply to us? You strongly disagree, or do you strongly agree that we have a partnership between our principals right now as it stands and with the district office? So if you give this assessment to central office staff or key people and it says strongly disagree, that may be a starting point. We may need to look at relationships between the building principals and the central office. So that's the gist of how these assessments work. Go to the next slide, please. So you can see some of the other questions, and it's very extensive also. One of the things that stood out for me that we did in Oceanside, if you look at number 8, actually spend 75% of their time working directly with principals on their professional growth as instructional leaders. I had a meeting with Mr. Perez this morning, and I was saying, this is where you see movement in an organization, when you're spending the bulk of the time in this cycle where you're giving feedback and you're monitoring and you're continuing to give feedback. And whoever we have working with principals and supporting their needs and building their capacity